Hello, hello. So today I have an incredible guest. She is with ICAN, which is the International Cesarean Awareness Network. Now, I do want to preface this with I just so appreciate Valerie coming on and such short notice. And if you didn't already know, every single person that is involved in the ICAN network, they are actually all volunteers. So the International Cesarean Awareness Network is a nonprofit organization. None of these people on staff that are helping to help the birth after cesarean cause are getting paid for the work that they're doing, and they are doing such important work. So I do want to invite you that if you have the means to, please donate to this organization so that they can continue giving the support and the love and all the goodness to everybody that deserves a different birth experience and the information. So what they have to pay for with this money is they pay for legal fees, they pay for, taxes because they have different ICAN chapter leaders. And the ICAN chapter leaders are actually all volunteers as well. So they are doing this out of like the love and kindness of their own hearts and making the time for people because they know how important this cause is. And I just had to say that I'm just so appreciative to the work that this organization is doing because they help to get legitimate information out to the people who need it. And they are working on so many amazing things to help make the journey easier and build community for people who are wanting to give birth after cesarean, whether that's VBAC or a repeat cesarean if necessary. And I also want to let you know that April, which is just in a couple weeks, if you're listening to this live, is Cesarean Awareness Month. So I want you to just keep that in mind. I have some special things coming up next month, some giveaways and some fun things. So I hope that you enjoy this episode. We just dive into a little bit about what ICAN actually does and then how you can support them and that how they support you on your journey. Now let's get into this episode. So excited to have her on because I went through my journey, my VBAC journey, and I leaned on ICANN so much on my journey. And I just feel like anybody that is looking to have a vaginal birth after cesarean or just birth after cesarean in general, this is such a great resource. So, Valerie, thank you so much for joining me.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. ICAN, as you mentioned, stands for International Cesarean Awareness Network. Um, our mission is to improve maternal outcomes by reducing the number of unnecessary cesareans. And we want to do that through education, support, and advocacy. So we were founded, oh gosh, I believe in the 80s by two women who had experienced cesareans and they saw a lot of injustice in their experiences um, and wanted to support others who were going through similar things with their cesareans or who were preparing for cesareans for whatever reason, because not all of them are unnecessary. Some of them are extremely necessary. So that's kind of what we came from. I am the chapter director, so I support and connect with all the chapter leaders. We have many chapters throughout the United States and some even in international areas, which is amazing. Um, so our chapter leaders are the people who are on the grounds in their community, who are connecting with those who need support, who are doing advocacy in their own like medical systems, and are educating those in their area too on ways that they can birth differently.
Yeah, I love that. And so if somebody wants to connect with like or find a local chapter leader, how could they do that? What's like the easiest way for them to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on our website, we have a find a chapter page, and you can search through that page to see if there's one in your state or your area that you can connect with. And
Yeah,
I also want to promote that people can become a chapter leader if I can promote that.
absolutely.
That's how I got involved in ICANN was there was not a chapter in my area that was active. I saw a great need in our area for support for cesarean sections and people who are navigating that. Selfishly, I wanted some support for myself as well to connect with others who had similar experiences as me because I feel like you can't really relate with somebody if they haven't had a cesarean, or an unwanted cesarean. So
Right.
You can do it. Anyone can do it. You can become a chapter leader and just hold space for people to share their story and be a space of support and resources.
Yeah, I love that. And so when somebody reaches out to a chapter leader, what exactly should they expect? Like, what kind of information are they going to get or support throughout their journey?
It probably depends on what the person is looking for. So, like you'd mentioned, you were looking for resources probably in regards to vaginal birth after many cesareans, probably a supportive provider,
Yeah.
and maybe even some research that would support your vaginal birth after many cesareans. So,
Hmm.
if someone's looking for those things, that would be exactly what I would give them. I would give them a list of supportive providers in the area, whatever research that I'm familiar with that I can help them navigate their decision. Um, I also, my chapter supports, or my chapter hosts a monthly meeting in person. Some chapters do that in person or online. And we also have a national ICAN meeting, so anybody can join our virtual ICAN meeting once a month that one of our board members hosts,
I
where
love
they can
that.
ask questions that they are curious about, like vaginal breech birth or how to get baby in a good position for VBAC, those kinds of questions.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask next is like, what if they can't find a chapter leader in their area? Like, what can they do? And you just answered it. Like, they can join a virtual meeting. That is so amazing. And that obviously is offered worldwide. So, and they can ask anything. Like, I feel like that is so useful because sometimes we just don't have the support that we need or like knowledgeable professionals that we can kind of lean on. So, I feel like that is such invaluable information. And I don't think everybody knows, but ICAN is actually a nonprofit. So I would love for, anybody, if they have the opportunity to donate, that would be right now. Like right now would be the best time to help support this because you guys are obviously doing so much work. Like, can you go into what exactly you guys do within this organization to try to help women on their journey? I mean, I know we touched on some, but I mean, if there's any more in depth that you can go into.
Yeah, right now we are working on something called a VBAC database or VBAC band database. So we are hoping to have volunteers call hospitals nationwide to see where they stand on VBAC, whether they are not supportive or whether they have a few supportive doctors or they're fully supportive of VBAC, so that we have a database for anyone to just search like whatever hospital or provider they're looking at to see if they would be supported in that space. So that's
Wow.
something that we're currently doing. Yeah, that is
That's
hopefully,
huge.
yeah, it's so huge. Um, Within the last year, I believe we wrote a letter to ACOG, um, kind of asking them to um, like reestablish language around VBAC after multiple cesareans and how we can support birthing people on that journey.
Hmm.
More from ACOG, which is a little bit more of a established voice, I would say, in that world. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know when everybody's looking for information, a lot of times they go to ACOG. And I've talked about it on this podcast many times. And, it's so important to, yeah, like you said, like change the language on multiple cesarean and whether it's like if they want a VBAC or they do want like a repeat cesarean. And I do love on some points how they're saying, like it is up to the person who is giving birth, it's up to them to ultimately make that choice because yeah, I mean, that's the way it should be, I feel like
Yeah.
so.
Informed consent, informed refusal. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I thank you so much for coming on here and doing like this impromptu last minute interview. Like you're so incredible. Is there anything that you feel like is really important that you would like to leave the audience with before we kind of wrap up here?
I want to encourage people to reach out to ICANN, whether that's online or in person if there's a chapter nearby, because I really see value in the organization. Obviously, I'm a part of it. And you see value in the organization too, Petra. And I just think that I wish there were more people who knew we existed, who knew how to get involved and connected. And I think support is really what can make us like better human beings and like feel good about the decisions we're making and to know that we're not alone on our journey in life or in like the birthing community either. So finding people that you can connect with, relate with, and learn from, I think is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I cannot emphasize that enough is like we feel so lonely on this journey. It can feel so lonely because if we don't know that there's these resources out there like I can, then we feel like we are almost like this trailblazer that is like blazing our own trail because we don't know that there's all of these extra entities that can actually help us. So and that's one reason why I really wanted to have you guys on here is to just put it out there. Like I always do talk about it on my podcast, but I feel like it's important for us to just continue to put it out there because we need this resource. Like ICAN is such an incredible resource, and I just so appreciate all the work that you're doing. Like obviously you're passionate about this because you're here doing all the work, boots on the ground like we need. So thank you so much for what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for supporting us and us to be a part of your podcast and your adventure as well.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that we're going to have like something more in the future. So that would be incredible.
Yeah,
All
awesome.
right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up today. Thank you again for joining me today. And just, I really, seriously, I so appreciate you. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
I hope you loved that episode as much as I loved creating it. And if you want to learn more, be sure to download your free VBAC resource guide for even more tips and advice at birthingcometrue.com/VBAC guide. And don't forget to subscribe to the Journey to VBAC so you never miss an episode. Until next time, trust in yourself and remember, you are amazing no matter how your birth unfolds. Bye for now.